Hello, and welcome to our tutorials for working with Finesse Gadget Designer. In this video, we're going to demonstrate how we can display the results of a query in a data grid depending upon values that we select from radial buttons. As you can see here, if I select the credit radial button, it only shows the credit transaction types, and when I click on debit, it only shows the debit transaction types. Well, first, let's design the demo. Go to our designer and drag a data grid. We can resize the data grid and 3 radial buttons to our frame that we've already placed on our canvas. Whenever we're using radio buttons, we have to remember to add them to a radio group so that they'll be linked, and so that you can't select more than one radio button at a time. So click a radio button, scroll to radio group, and we'll name our group transaction type. Then we click add, and it adds our group to the group dropdown, and we'll choose it for our first button. While we're here, we'll change the label and the component IDs so it's easy for us to differentiate the radio buttons from one another. The first one we'll name All. Then select the second button and change the label and component IDs to Credit and add it to our transaction type button group. And for the third button, we'll name the label and the component ID as Debit. And again, add it to our transaction type button group. Now, on the change of these radio groups, we need to request a service. We've already created 2 services using databases, and they are Select Account and Select Account by Type. In the first service, we'll just fill our data grid with the complete accounts table. But the second service needs to pass a parameter type, and depending upon the parameter that we're passing, it will give us a result. So, go to the designer and select the first radio button, and go to Actions to add an action. On the OnChange event of the radio button, we need to execute the action Request Service. The service we need to request is a database service, and the name of the service is Select Account. Then click Save. Similarly, for the second radio button, add an action, and on the OnChange event, we're going to request a service of service type database service. However, for this radio button, we want to use the Select Account by Type service. As mentioned before, this service requires a parameter of a type constant value, the name of which is Credit. Then click Save. We're going to do the same thing for the third radio button. Add an action, and on change of the debit button, we're requesting a service, a DB service, and the service is Select Account by Type. Again, our parameter is a constant value, and this time its name is Debit. Then again, click Save. The results of these services have to be filled into the data grid, so click the grid and we'll add an action to fill the data for both services. On the first service, Select Account by Type, we'll execute the Fill Data command and click Save. And then do the same thing for the second service, Select Account, which executes Fill Data and Save. Let's save and publish our project and refresh the output window to see what the results look like. We see a data grid and 3 radio buttons. When we click All, it shows the complete table, the credit as well as the debit. And when we click on debit, it shows only the debit results, and on credit, it shows only the credit data type. And that's a good demonstration of how we can use a data grid to display results of data depending on the selection of radio buttons in Finesse Gadget Designer. Thanks for watching.